What up, everybody? Welcome to Crawler Space RC's YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Shoot me a comment if you have any questions on anything. So here are the two axial SCX6 trucks, and I couldn't get one without getting the other, just because I really like the looks of this one. I'm not a fan of the 1/10 scale Honcho, but this one being as big as it is, I'm definitely a fan of. As you can tell, I've got some wheels kind of set out that are an option for the truck. I'm deciding still what I want to go with. I've got the Vitivons right now on stock tires. I also have the Proline Swampers that I might throw on here, just undecided yet. I really like the looks of these Vitivon wheels. And then I've got the Injora on Hyrax red V-Lock wheels. So these are a really cool wheel. I'm thinking I'm probably going to do this truck in red. So that'll be kind of neat if I decide to go that route with axles and stuff like that. As of right now, I'm not sure my direction. I might just go with red and black with this truck. The body, Hemi-Storm mentioned that the body's kind of transparent because they didn't back it. They just painted it red. So what I'm debating on doing is running down the side, you know, let's say a bigger size panel here on the door, and using nitro fuel to get rid of the paint, and then maybe do a graphic inside, kind of like I did the Jeep. As you can tell, this is kind of dirty. It's covered in sand and dust and dirt. I take it out in the trails. Currently, this is where rocking the 40 series tires from RC 4-wheel drive. I think they're meant for the Yeti XL. And I had to get the hubs for the wheels. And then I threw the Rock Beasts, also I think meant for the Yeti XL, because I think they've been out for a while, and I think the label said for that truck. So that's what I went with this kind of mall crawler look. It's definitely not, as you can tell, it's covered in sand and dirt. Right now I currently have a set of Trio axles that I'm debating on putting on. These are going to be the ones in gunmetal right now. And as you can tell, Crawler Space RC, I also sell this stuff and stock it as often as I can. And then also with that, I have a servo mount for the 2-speed transmission that I think I'd do. If you guys are curious, that's part number X0033WZ0WL on Trio's website. Front and rear axles just going to the SCX6 page. And then shock towers is probably going to be something else I do. And I'm debating, because I have black in stock right now, I might do those, or I might go to red. If you want the part numbers, just let me know in the comments, and I'll put one in here. Now, servo wise, I went with a JX 130 kg servo for this truck, and so far I haven't been unimpressed. It's 130 kg, 8.4 volts, 30 seconds, 60 degrees. And it says, it doesn't give me the millimeter, but it's a full metal case, and it comes with the servo horn and a few other things in the package here in aluminum. Nope, plastic, sorry. So what I did with this one, when I switched out to the JX, I ended up throwing the stock servo horn on it, because from what I've been told, all the 5th scale stuff is all 15 tooth. So I left that kind of as is, just because until I break it, I don't see a need to replace it. Potentially someday, would I go with the Reefs RC? Maybe. It just depends on, I'm trying to keep them as budget friendly as possible. I know already the truck is expensive, so I don't want to go too far beyond, you know, making it overpriced. The bodies are super cool in contrast to one another. I really like the fact that if I wanted a full-size truck, I've got this one, and if I want something a little more kind of off-road, trailer to the woods, like if it was a real truck, trailer to the woods, this truck is going to be really cool for that. I did find it a bit on the humorous side, because I used the RC 4-wheel drive Baja ditch lights on this truck, because I wanted, and that's in one of these videos too, you can see I took it out in the trails like that. I wanted the lights up there because my real truck has ditch lights like this, and then I threw the rigid light bar on the bumper. This one already has lights in the bumper, so I'll probably keep this stock bumper, and I like that it has a stinger. I added my own stinger to this one. I believe it came off a GPM bumper for a TRX4. and I just drilled it, squared the hole up, and mounted it. And it's kind of nice because you can turn these out a little bit, give you a better light spread if you do any driving at night, or if you want that realistic look, and they don't tilt. So, oh, another reason, the main reason I'm doing this video is I haven't seen anyone do a side-by-side comparison of the two trucks. Maybe it's out there and I just haven't seen it, I don't know. So that's kind of why I'm doing this, because I've got both trucks. Overall, I'm sure you guys have seen the unboxing videos, and you've seen the super secret compartment in the back, and you've seen the fact that it's got usable max tracks. I had a friend of mine print me some max tracks for mine, and he built them scaled up based off of what he thought they would look like for a real truck. They might be a little bit bigger, but they feel really appropriate for this truck. So I've got a set that are orange on the back, black in the middle, and then blue on the top, so they match this truck really good. And I also have a set of full orange ones that I would probably use on this truck. Comparatively to what come with the truck, yeah, I kind of like these more. They're flat, they're thick. These are probably just as close to a real max tracks as you can get, of course. But I mean, you do the math on this one, or be the judge rather. These guys are quite a bit wider, so give you a little bit of an idea there, and longer, of course, and for sure thicker. So coverage-wise for your tire is going to be a little nicer. These are going to kind of fit under, or I'm sorry, in between the edges of the tire, where this is going to stick out on either side of your stock tires. So that's kind of cool with the 3D printed ones. And again, if you've got a 3D printer, you can always print your own, scale them up, make them work for whatever you're trying to do. I've had fun with this truck out in the trails. It's probably one of my more favorite trucks, and I have a few. If you guys have watched the channel, I've posted videos with a few trucks on here. So I've been a big fan of this truck since it come out. I wasn't at first. I was going to be pretty hesitant till I saw one come out. I had another YouTuber bring one in here so I could drive it on the indoor course that I've got here, and I was pretty thrilled with it, just the sheer scale of it. The truck has been really unique to drive out in the trails. It handles similarly to, you know, what you'd expect a truck of this weight to handle, as far as climbing obstacles, stuff like that. As far as the overall size goes, it hasn't really been a burden out in the trails or tricky. It's kind of nice because now with this truck, I can do things that with 10 scale trucks you just can't do, obviously, because of the scale, but also the handling. The truck handles really smoothly the way you'd expect a truck of this size and weight to handle. Now, here's a few things that I was curious about, and I didn't see anyone answer. Not that they intentionally didn't, but just they didn't, and I haven't, or they may have, and I just haven't seen it. Wheelbase length and width, I've been curious about. These wheels are going to be the same wheelbase length. They might track a little wider. So we've got on this one, the stock one, we've got about 19 3/4, roughly, give or take. And then this one, we've got, it looks closer to 19.5, if I had to guess. So that might be the fact that I've got trio axles on this one already and shock towers. But so maybe that played with a 1/4 inch either way on the length of the wheelbase. I don't know for sure. And then width, the wheel track, we'll go outside to outside tire. We were 14.5 there, and I'm roughly, I'm 15.5 with these 40 series. So I've got a little bit wider track on this truck, thanks to probably more than anything else, these wheels and tire combo that I went with. I've been pretty happy with it. As I said, out in the trails, I've done a fender delete, I've done rock lights underneath this. This is a custom painted body, so all the stuff up the side here is all paint, not stickers. And then I used, of course, some axial stickers. Another thing I did was I trimmed the clear sticker out of the window frame, so I'd have actually a clear window instead of a sticker in front of it, because I think I ran into a stick once and it kind of marred it up, which it looks like this one has too. So I'll be trimming away the stock clear sticker with an X-Acto knife. I'll do it on all the windows. So as far as the interiors go on these trucks, it's kind of cool that this truck is, it seems like it's kind of made for a figure. You can probably get a 3/4 of a figure in here. The interior floor doesn't go very low, which I would have liked to see. So I could put a figure in there that would have been more appropriate instead of getting one and then cutting his legs off or cutting him off at the waist. But if it was that big of a deal, I can figure something out pretty easily. This one here still has the cowboy hat figure. We haven't changed anything with this one. I'm just going to leave it the way it is because I like the way it looks, and I don't really ever get into the interior, and it's not usually a big enough deal to worry about. As far as under the bodies go, this will be my first time taking this body off. The body pins are down here. They do go on the same way as they do with the SCX6 underneath the front bumper, but the rear is hinged, so you don't have to worry about losing rear body pins. I've been curious if it'll open up far enough. All right, here's our light, so let's disconnect that carefully. Otherwise, we're putting a new plug on this already. I've been curious with this to see, I wish it opened further, or like Hemi Storm said, it had a stick or something that would flop up and hold it open. Maybe at some point I'll find out what restricts this body, and I'll just Dremel it off so I can open the body all the way over, because it'd be nicer if I could put the body all the way up or all the way back to get out of my way so I can change the battery without worrying about this heavy body flopping down on my hands. Again, as of right now, not a real big deal. Usually once you get out in the trail, you're going to leave it the way it is. One of the guys that I run with, his SCX6, what he does is he'll run 2 6S batteries and double the milliamp hours instead of the S rating. Series parallel, I'm not sure what it's called right now, I just know what he does. Which is kind of cool, and I might do that with this one, or I just might run, I know they say don't run a 4S, I might run a 4S. I ran 4S in this truck and I haven't had any problems as of late, and usually what I'll do is I'll carry on board one 4S, one 3S for the truck and a trip back if I need it, and then I carry a smaller 3S that all my lights are powered off of, so my lights aren't powered off of the truck's main battery. I just do that just because it was something different and I thought it'd be kind of neat to do. This one I'll probably do the same thing. I'll probably figure out what the voltage rating is on these lights through some digging, and then what I might do is run these off their own separate battery. It doesn't have the battery tray back here, but this box I think is going to be ideal for that, running a spare battery. And then I'll carry 2 batteries with me when I run the truck out in the trails. Other than that, it looks exactly the same. Let me pop this body off here. I have some 3D printed stuff on here. So it's got this that was just scaled up from, I don't know which 3D printed website. And then I also have the roof rack with the straps on that and the extra fuel cans. And then I, of course, carry my battery adapter there for my other 3S battery plug. I don't normally carry it on top of the truck when I'm trailing, but it found its way up there and it might just stay there. And then here's my light set up for the truck. It still ran to a plug. And then I've got a Y connector that plugs into here, one of my spares. So that will power, and this is all ran into this conglomerate of wires over here you might not be able to see. But that is for my spare battery in this little battery tray back here. And then my backup battery will go here, my main battery will go here, and then my lights again will run off their own separate 3S battery. Just so that way there, I always have them on if I want them on. Or if I want to turn them off, it's bright enough outside, I can just unplug one plug and I can ditch either my rock lights, which are ran into my fender wells, or my body lights, or whichever I prefer. To me, seem pretty identical under the fenders, or under the bodies rather, sorry. Fenders are different. I've trimmed back these fenders because I went to a fender delete kit on there. And you know how you guys always have problems locking this body on there? Well, trimming these back, I actually got away from that now. So my body, let's see if I can demonstrate, usually goes on much easier. Get the wires out of the way. I'm not fighting with it as much, because usually you'll fight with these inner fenders. Yeah, so it's not all the way on there because the pegs aren't lined up, but it goes on a lot easier than it did before I trimmed back those fenders. I don't think you'll have that problem with this truck. seeing as how they go pretty high up in the fender wells, they don't really interfere with the body at all. At least not that I've seen, because there's no inner fenders on this. Same truck, minus the rear inner fenders and the rear bumper. It looks like the same shock towers, same shocks, same chassis braces, minus the extra battery tray, same transmission, same location for the shift servo, and I believe this to be the same motor. I'm not 100% on that, but until someone says different, or if you know different, comment down below and let me know. Otherwise, I believe this to be same motor, same electronic stock, one versus the other. And again, I'm going to swap these out. I've already swapped out my servo here to the 5th scale JX. You can kind of see that there if you zoom in. Aluminum bodied servo, waterproof, 130 kg. I haven't needed to run an external BEC on it yet because of the rating. I was assuming that it would need one, but thus far I haven't had it brown out on me. Eventually at some point, that's something I'd like to do, is either add an external BEC or tie that into my smaller 3S battery for my lights, because it might just kind of be nice to give it its own direct power. And I believe these servos can run up to, looks like 8.4 is my limit. So if I did anything, I'd have to run a BEC that I programmed. So other than that, guys, I'm looking forward to getting both these trucks out in the trail, giving them a once over and seeing what it can do. Hopefully I can take this out with a group of guys. We have a few local guys that have SCX6s, so it'd be cool to get both of these trucks out, maybe not just my Jeep, but both trucks out, and do some trailing with each other just to kind of see if we can follow the same lines. I'm assuming because this rear has the open fender wells like it does, and these rock sliders are different. These have this has kind of a running board style with these points that come out that do get hung up on stuff. So at some point I'm going to take a Dremel and I'm going to, instead of them pointing forward, I'm going to cut them back to where they face backwards, and see if that helps, because right now it does every now and again get hung up on stuff. Let me know if you guys have any questions on anything. Leave a like, share, comment below. If there's anything you want to see as far as, like, you know, an axle tour part or something like that, let me know. I can do something like that, do the truck in pieces and kind of see what happens. But overall, really cool trucks. They're roughly the same size. And again, my tires are what I think changed this track with, because the hubs that bolt onto these 40 series wheels from RC 4-wheel drive are a little more of a standoff, further standoff. These wheels here from Injora have a removable hub, so maybe at some point someone will come up with hubs for these. Maybe Vanquish will come out with a set of wheels, actual methods or something. But the hubs on these come off, so maybe you can change your stance of the truck a little if you don't like how narrow it is. I mean, an inch right now I don't think is going to be that drastic, but if you get it out there and you have the opportunity to get it out to a wider stance and feel like it'll do a little bit better, maybe that's a nice thing that is a future for these trucks. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your guys' time on this and checking out the video. Hope you guys have a great week, month, year, and get out there and do some RC and stuff. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Take it easy.